welcome to this new episode of the Alex Show. Today is episode 345 from August the 9th of the year 2024. Today is a Friday, and today's show we finish with this first three-part series on Isabella Greene. And this is probably going to be the most complete one, the most interesting one, because this is Isabella Greene's specialty, reincarnation. She does an excellent job in explaining what is being referred to as the reincarnation trap, as the reincarnation cycle is, I guess, a better way to say it. This process that every time we transcend this reality, we physically die, because we only die physically. We go on forever spiritually. And but what happens, there is a process, which is, there are many school of thoughts of what happens there. Some say that our guides present us our life review, and then we are suggested into coming back and fix the issues we found on our life review, kind of a karmic balance, something like that. I said many times, I don't attach with that. I respect it very much. Some people say that's the core of the process of spiritual enlightening. I think it's something else. And I think the process is more personal than that. If we just have to do karma on each other, and trauma on each other in order to evolve, we're never going to finish with that. And I believe Isabella kind of agrees with that. She basically says karma doesn't exist. So that's why it's all a guilt trap. It's trying to get you in guilt, try to make you feel guilty, and through your own free will, make you return in this lifetime. Because we have 5 clips to watch today, 5 support videos. Yes, all from that interview Isabella gave, which, by the way, is in the show notes, in the video description of every show on Isabella Greene. Also, you can find Isabella's channel right there at the top of the video description. Let's watch the first video, and I will continue giving you my thoughts.
That when we leave the body, it's not the end at all. We're usually greeted by the group of beings that present us with a life review, and a lot of people talk about that. And then you are given really only one choice, to come back and pay off your karma, pay off the suffering that you generated on Earth. And one way or another, if you're born on Earth, you made something suffer. So it is very much linked to the guilt tripping and making people feel that they need to go back and do better the next time. And so souls are recycled coming back. You only are presented with one choice, so they will dance around you until you agree to that choice. No one really tells you that, hey, you know what, you have a choice to check out if you want to. No, you have to come back and start all over again in a different body and continue whatever karma or paying off karma or whatever path that was created previously. So that's kind of just the gist of reincarnation there.
Okay. So she basically said in a much better way what I just started with, that apparently the process is we transcend. We are greeted by a group of beings. Some say they are our guides. I'm not sure about that. I don't think they are, by the way. And then these guides only give you one option. I mean, you see your life review and basically say you have to go back. You have to reincarnate again in order to fix all the issues you have done. But as she says beautifully, if you are born here on Earth, this reality as it's set up right now basically only gives the option to create karma and trauma. Okay, everything you do, basically, you're going to interfere with something or someone, which is one of the primal laws in the universe, the law of non-interference. In order to operate in this hierarchy, duality, competition-based reality, you're going to violate the law of balance. Okay, you're going to abuse your free will. That's just going to happen. It doesn't matter if you say, I don't want money, I don't want success, I don't want comfort, I don't want pleasures. It doesn't matter. The closest is to go out there in a monastery in the mountains and close yourself and don't even interact among your fellow monks or whoever you are there with. That's the closest you're going to get in order to have a pristine lifetime in a way. So what's the point? I mean, what's the point? There is no point in that sense. Karma, Isabella thinks there's nothing there. What I think is karma is a process that the universe designed for protection of the abuse of free will and protection of, to make you understand on your own, through your own maturity or your own understanding, your own rules, you're at your own pace, to make you understand how to behave. Okay. And these experiences, as for example, when I had Peter Panagor on the show, he said clearly, we are given kind of a pass in these experiences because they know it's basically impossible, okay? So why will they give you only one option? Why is the only option coming back? Sorry about that, something in my computer sound that you probably heard as well. Why is the only option coming back? That's interesting. Because I think we should be presented with all the options. And one option is, do you want to leave Earth? Yes. Okay. You can leave Earth. Go ahead. And then on the show previous to this one, we had embracing the void and, the beautifulness, the unity, the everything, the nothing, the unity consciousness, the source, the love of the universe, the love of the creator, everything. I could go on 100 words. They're just words describing the same thing. Why we're not given the option to go back there? Some near-death experiencers, such as Peter Panagor, which I had on the show, I'm sure when they say they were in bliss, they were basically in spiritual ecstasy, not physical ecstasy, certainly not sexual ecstasy, okay? But in spiritual ecstasy, they were in bliss. They didn't want to leave. They didn't want to come back. They want to move. They were experiencing the void. They were experiencing the unity consciousness. They were experiencing the love of the creator. They were experiencing the core of the universe, the fabric of the universe, pure, sheer love. Okay? So why we don't have the option to go there? Why are we not worthy to go there? Oh, because you have to come back to Earth and clean. For one, I'm sure they presented, and my memories, my intuition tells me it's that way. They presented, hey, if you have concerns, this is the last time. Just come back one more time. And because they clear your memory, you come back, you transcend again eventually, you go back to the life review, you go back to the moment of decision, and they say, hey, come back again. So if you had your memories intact, you will say, wait a second. Someone like you on my last lifetime said this was the last time. Why are you asking me to come back? Because they are playing with that concept that they're clearing your memories, your conscious memories, not unconscious, because that's impossible to do, but they're clearing your conscious memories. So unless you decide to embrace your true story, your full story, your true memory, to decide and discover who you truly are, what I shared on the last 2 minutes of the show, ask yourself, ask the universe, who am I? Where do I come from? Where am I going? What's my purpose here? The answers will start coming in the form of intuition, okay? I know for some of you, you have direct conversations, channelings, all that. It comes different to all of us, okay? I just share in my form has been through intuitions, through implantations, through things there that I just know. I cannot explain you where do they come from, okay? I just wake up in the morning and I have new knowledge. I don't want to call it wisdom. It's wisdom, but I don't want to call it wisdom because it sounds a little bit arrogant from my part. But it's that. It's implantation from the universe, okay? Information from the universe, okay? But so we have so much material to go. On this show, I could go on for 2 hours because Isabella's work on this topic is so great, and I wanted to comment so much on that. But let's keep going and watch some other videos because there's so much she talks about reincarnation. Let's watch it together.
Really never presented with a different choice, first of all. Secondary, it's a very kind of, I think that it has a lot to do with ego, wanting to be better and do better. And there was one workshop that I taught on this recently at the yoga festival, by the way. And there was like, people were split half and half, the audience. Half of the people were saying, yeah, we want to be free to make our choice and to get out or rest or liberate ourselves or go into the void or the infinite soup of source, so to speak, right? The omnipresent field, or go to a different reality. While the other half was saying, why? We don't see why. We want to come back and serve more, do better, or change our previous ways. But the catch here is that you forget. You're wiped when you come into the new body, except a few cases where you are able, through yogic practices, you're able to remember your past lives. And there are a few that are born remembering their past lives, but these are few and far apart. Predominantly, most of us just come back completely like a clean slate. So what are you doing, really? What are you cleaning up from the past if you don't remember?
Okay, yes, that's also the core. I've done this topic. I've skinned a cat in different ways with this topic because probably the fifth, sixth episode at least. I'm talking on reincarnation, at least, probably more. I've done a few shows on my own. I've had some guests here. I had a guest in Spanish, Salim from Flecha Antigua channel in Colombia. I believe my friend Tony from Mexico. We had a similar show that basically what is death, what is after death, and Tony shared his opinion. He doesn't necessarily believe exactly like this on reincarnation. He believes something else, but we had his opinion. So I've tried to tackle this topic from different angles, not just come back to what Isabella said. And I find very interesting that she had a workshop and around half the audience was, yes, we need to come back. We need to come back over and over and over again to clean our deeds. That's perfectly understandable. Actually, for example, I just recently had a talk with my wife about this topic, and she's in that belief. And she's playing her reasons, and it's quite valid, okay? And then I shared my belief, and she was okay. We just had a difference of opinion, but you know, I believe that has to do where it doesn't mean that Isabella and me are right, and the others that think that no, we definitely don't need to come back and back and back and back. And that doesn't mean that the ones that think that are right and we're wrong. It just, I see these kind of topics and everything actually as an angle, okay? And for some reason, at this moment, we need this angle for where at this point. But things are not linear. If they were linear, yes, someone has to be wrong and someone has to be right. Definitely always, because it's linearity, okay? But if you see things from an angle, you instead of thinking of a line, you think of a sphere, then it depends where you are in the sphere. Things look quite differently, okay? And for example, time, I believe a lot of people are talking right now that all the time is at the same time. So that's for people that think in linearity. Time is very obviously a past and a future and a present, okay? The present is the dot you are right now. The future is any moment ahead of the line of that point. And the past is any moment behind the line and that point. Yes, that makes a lot of sense. You think of time as a sphere, then suddenly everything is happening inside the sphere. If all time, all possible time is in a sphere, and if you're in the sphere, does it really matter? Does it really, is that really important where you are in the sphere? Everything is happening in the same time. It's like you put time and you put it in a ball, okay? Everything is inside the ball. With linearity, that's difficult to do because then you say, okay, the line is happening at the same time. That doesn't make a lot of sense. We're very linear in our thinking and say, no, there's a past, a present, and a future, definitely. Well, when you think from that sense, what my wife says happens in reincarnation and what Isabella says and what I say happen in reincarnation could be happening at the same time. And the question or the answer will be, depends. It depends. And maybe you need to come back and maybe I don't need to come back. So both answers are correct. It's not like we all need to come back. It's maybe that we all need a different thing. And then truth is an angle. It's a place in the sphere. It's not a point in a line, which is very black and white. We are so obsessed with the truth and we're so obsessed with being right and we're so obsessed with knowing the actual truth that's why we sometimes get upset with people that go against what we believe, because then they're moving or the place we're standing, okay? It's like, okay, this doesn't feel safe anymore. That's the reason. So let's watch the third video. Again, we have so much material. I'm gonna try to keep it short. Let's watch the third video and I will continue giving you my thoughts.
But here's the thing. If you have gone into what's called the state of samadhi, if you have gone into the state of omnipresence, the super consciousness, right? And you have experienced yourself as the true essence of the soul, as the field of everything and nothing, where everything is already known and everything already exists and everything is already encompassed. What are we really learning here with earth experiences? Because I do sessions for people and I do counseling, I do all different types of sessions and stuff. And sometimes for the entire week, I'm sitting there listening to the same story over and over, and so it's like, oh, we're quite redundant here, and there isn't as much variety of experience as it seems, or that's required to experience through thousands and thousands of incarnations that we've been through, those who've been on Earth for a very long time. I remembered being on Earth from the very beginning of time, before while the humans were just being created, if you wish, right? So from beginning of time, how many incarnations do you think have I had? And do you think I have already mastered the, whatever, tough mother, tough father, tough boyfriend,
at one
whatever,
point or another? Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So
Sure.
there is, I tend to stretch this idea a lot, but it's a great concept because it makes us agree to suffer more. It makes us want to suffer for the bigger cause, because as if we are collecting.
Okay, very interesting stuff there. And I'm gonna try again to keep it short, but I'm gonna give you my thoughts. I cannot help it. And again, this is my show, so I guess I'm sorry, but I make the rules. Because this is amazing stuff. This is the kind of topics I would like to talk again and again and again. But I know I'm gonna bore you. I know I'm gonna, you're eventually gonna lose interest if I just keep it like that. Especially if it's always my voice, or most of the times, because I don't have that many guests. So it's 80-90% of the times my voice. So I understand. So she says something very important, that, why they come in again and again and again. And I guess if I use an analogy, it will be like going on a trip. And, I'm going to share a little story here. My father loved a beach out there in Texas, US, South Texas. And it's like a 5-hour drive from my home in northern Mexico, Monterrey, Mexico. And so we went there one time. He loved it. We went there again and again and again. And suddenly the moment was when we grew older. I have a older sister, a younger sister. We are kind of similar in age, and we said, that we really want to see something else. How about Cancun? How about Puerto Vallarta? Or nice Mexican. We probably have heard of them, beaches. With more. We're getting in teenagers. With more bars and stuff like that. No, because the place we went, it was basically going fishing, going to the beach, and there was nothing more. Okay, a couple of restaurants, and that's it. And no, we kept going to the same place because, again, he loved it. He felt it was a nice family vacation, and he has his point. And he was the one paying for it, so it was his decision, I guess. And so at the end, we went there again and again and again, tens of times, because we'll go multiple times per year. Being the fact we didn't have to catch an airplane, it was just a drive, and we'll go for a weekend or something like that. I see similar to that. It's not that Earth is bad. Please don't get me wrong. I don't hate Earth. I don't hate humanity. I love Earth and I love humanity. I love nature. Okay, I love it. I love it. There's just so much more, and you have an option. Okay, that's the point of Isabella, and that's the point I'm trying to make. You have an option. There's so much more to experience out there. She mentions, why will we come over and over again here for the experience? That's the only thing, for the experience. Okay, so after a few times, you get it. Okay, I get what Earth is like, and I've experienced kind of the spectrum of what Earth offers. So that's about it, I guess. You're ready to leave. And that's the problem, that we're not presented with the option. That's the only problem of the reincarnation cycle, some call it trap. That we're presented like, no, you have to come back and back and back. And then you're probably in your 1,000th time, 2,000th time. Hey, and if you could remember, you would say, this is my whatever time. Do I really need to come back? Yes. But this is the last time they're going to say. They're always, when they sense that you're kind of fed up, they're going to say, this is the last time. Okay, just do it for one more time. Because again, they clear your conscious memory, you come back, and there's a very good chance you are going to decide to come back again and again and again. If Isabella and I are right on this is not right. This is not correct that this is going on, okay? We need to be presented with a choice. Also, someone very close to me that has channeling abilities and has been in contact told me recently, that's a couple of years ago, that this is not going on as much as of late. A lot of people that are transcending are leaving the matrix, are leaving this plane, okay? So it's not working anymore. And that's what I keep saying, that humanity is evolving. Planet Earth for sure, okay? Nature, that's very clear. They're way ahead of us. But humanity, which was very behind, is also evolving, even if it's not apparent. The problem is that you see the polarization of this evolvement. So the ones that are feeling it, but their mind is interfering and saying, wow, this is not right. What's going on? This is not right. This breaks all my ideas about, what happens during death and all this breaks everything. Very religious people, maybe, they get very polarized. So you see the polarization. You see, I hear a lot of people saying people are as evil as they have ever been. People are as divisive as they have ever been. People are as afraid as they have ever been. You're watching the polarization. You are kind of putting attention to the polarization. For that is happening, you're right. There's also a group of people that are embracing all of this, and that's why this trap is not working as much. I'm not saying it's totally gone, but the future of planet Earth and humanity is that this trap is going to be gone. And then what will happen on reincarnation? Not necessarily reincarnation. I mean, you have the reincarnation is getting into a physical experience again. Okay, you could live and have a bodiless experience, have a spiritual experience. You want to call it spiritual, but we're always in a spiritual experience. But you have an experience without a body. You can, okay, and then have a reincarnation and have an experience with a body somewhere else, maybe, or on planet Earth. Okay, which again, I go to the analogy of my father. Why will you go back to that beach in Texas? By the way, the name, some of you know Texas is South Padre Island, Texas, like 30 miles from Brownsville, Texas, out there in the southern tip of Texas. Nice place, yes, like planet Earth, but there are so many other places. That's the point we have with my father. That there are so many other places. Why we come back again? We know it by heart. We knew the street names. We knew all the restaurants. We knew everything by heart. After 30 times of going, I don't know how many. We went 3, 4, 5 times a year for many years, for 10 years. Okay, that's the point. It's like if you like a restaurant, there's so many options, and you like your own restaurant, and you go there once and what? Okay, I guess some people are like that. So those are the ones probably that hey, I want to come back to Earth. It's the only thing I remember maybe, and I want to come back to Earth. But that's not necessarily right for everyone. Okay, so let's watch the next video, and I continue giving you my thoughts.
So what's the purpose of the original choosing to come down here and then being again and again and again?
Here's the thing. I remember coming down here the very first time.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't get out.
Now, doesn't that go? But that does not go against the concept of free will.
Right. But doesn't the whole reincarnation cycle go against the concept of free will? If we start digging into this, that's a archonic structure around Earth. Have you seen? If you have astral projected, you have seen the firmament, the barrier around Earth, that you can't get out. You can't get through that unless you have learned to what I call quantum travel, go right past it. And that's what I've been practicing for 9 years now, since that first happened in 2014. So there is a system here around this planet that keeps the original idea to come in and help. I remember that very clearly, was that I wanted there was like a distress call from this planet that entered the world where I was at that time. And it was a very different reality. We didn't know any struggle or suffering. We were in peace. We were in shared consciousness. We were very connected as a species. And I'm not talking about the hive mind. There is a very big difference between the hive mind and shared consciousness. So we were connected with the planet. We were connected with all life forms. It was very peaceful and calm, and we could hop into different realities. We were non-physical beings. But I remember that all of a sudden we started receiving through the transmitter, which was a mountain on our planet. That was communicating with other worlds. We started receiving a distress call from Earth that Earth needs help. And I kind of felt like, yeah, you know what? That sounds like a good adventure. I was very sure that I had all the abilities required to handle it. And I thought, yeah, like I had a strong sense of compassion and desire to go and help, because we've never known this kind of level of distress that was coming in with that call. And my feeling was, well, I can definitely go and help. So I came in the first time. And after that, once you enter it, that's it. Then you just keep getting wiped and recycled. And that's the reincarnation cycle from my perspective.
Okay. If my mind is not playing tricks with me, we have seen 4 videos. So there's one more. In case I have something wrong, I'll probably have to edit the video, because that will be the end of the presentation. But we'll check it in a second. Very interesting stuff from Isabella. couple of points I'm going to make from that longer video, but one point is she has the memory that she came here responding to a seek for help coming from Earth. I've heard that much. I mean, I've heard that a few times. And that also resonates with my memory, which is, as I shared, is like describing a blurry picture. I don't have that clear of memories, okay? But as I shared many times, I've originally come back to Earth 2 times, which is not that much. Probably Isabella has come here many times. And when I had Chris Harrison on the show, he mentioned he has been on this type of situation 5 times. Okay, so I know that I left the matrix of Earth once before, and I decided to come back, probably answering a seek and a request for help. And there's so much going on in there right now. There's a lot of the universe involved with this. So many races are very attentive. They are very looking into what's going on with Earth, because we are very behind as humanity. Humanity is way behind on this process of ascension, way behind. Okay, so it's like, hey guys, it's like someone in school that has gone. He or she is 21 and is graduating high school or something like that. Sorry, I'm not 21, but 25 or something like that. That bad. Okay, we're very behind. Nature is way ahead of us, by the way. Nature is okay. It's always pristine. It's always benign. It's always organic. But humans, through these whole processes that have been here, are very behind in this process. So yes, there's these help requests that many have answered, including Isabella. Okay, so she came here and she couldn't leave. That's the second part of this video that's very interesting. Okay, so I've shared many times about the astral. Some say it's the 4D. Some say it's a necessary dimension attached to this 3D dimension. Makes a lot of sense. That's when we transcend our body. We leave our body, we're pure spirit, we go to the astral. Is kind of the gateway. It's like going to a bus station. Okay, it does. I mean, and I said many times, could you stay in the astral? Yes, but is it correct that you go to a bus station and then to make a trip somewhere, and then you're staying in the bus station and you're there for a year or 2? No, it doesn't make sense at all. Is it possible? Yes. So a lot of spirits are confused, and the ones that are very attached to their previous life, that's how I feel, by the way. That's my intuition. The ones that are very attached to their previous life stay in the usually lower astral, and they're called as disembodied beings. You also might have heard of them as ghosts, and all of that connotation, I believe, is there. Okay. Some want to break. They don't know where they're going. So some want to break, and they go to a higher astral, and that's a place that's probably similar to heaven. You're basically in pure spirit form, but you're still in the bus station. You're still in the astral. You're still in the 4D. Okay. So what Isabella is saying is very interesting, that you need to learn to break the astral. You need to learn to go beyond, because that's not the void. That's not the unity consciousness. That's not the everything. That's not the creation. Okay. It's a part, of course. You're there. It's a dimension that is attached to this reality. You're still kind of in the Earth field in a way, because the 4D is not general through the universe. I'm talking about the specifically 4D of planet Earth. There are probably 4Ds in other planets. Semantics. I wouldn't know exactly if they're called like that or anything like that. But I know the 4D, the astral, is for Earth, and is a reality that is very attached to this physical reality. That's why I don't believe spirits and that will materialize in this reality and make us harm what you see in movies. But that's why sometimes they will turn on lights, they will turn on the TV, they will move things so you wonder and you'll hear noises. They will come in your dreams, because I believe in our dreams we touch the astral travels and all that. So very important information Isabella is sharing, that train yourself to break the astral. Train yourself, because then what will happen is you stay in the astral. Even if it's the higher astral, you're still here on Earth. And it could probably happen is that you're for a period of time out there in the high astral, seems like heaven, and then you say, okay, I'm going back to Earth, and at least you got a break, okay? And sometimes you need a break. And just think, for example, a child in Africa, was born in total poverty, struggling to eat, to have shelter all his or her life, and probably dying, 10, 12, 9, 8. Well, that kid, that soul needs a break, and it's probably gonna get that break on the higher astral. Okay, very different stuff of what I'm saying. You're, for example, a successful soccer player, a successful businessman. You have a lot of money, you have a lot of power. You're a president of a country. You die. You're probably gonna be in the lower astral because you're attaching to Earth. You wanna go back to your life, which doesn't exist anymore. When I transcend, when this body stops working, Alex is gone forever. Okay? Your experience is gone, it's ended forever. Okay? That doesn't mean you have died. That means you get a new experience. But if I wanna go back to Alex, if I wanna go back to my children, if I wanna go back to my wife, if my parents are still here, which they are right now, but let's assume when I transcend they're not, I don't know. If I wanna come back to that, if I wanna go back to my house, if I wanna go back to my bank account, if I want to go back to my job, if I want to go back to all the power I felt I had. Again, air quotes on all of those things because that's, you think you have it, but you're gone. So the best thing is prepare for death. That doesn't mean you're embracing that or you want to die today. That means you know what's going to go on and you're definitely not going to attach to your previous life. You're going to leave it behind. Some even say that during wakes and during the days after someone passing, you have to manifestate this kind of stuff in case the being is hearing you to say, hey, you're gone. You're not here with us anymore. Maybe you're confused. You think you're still alive and you want to come back because you didn't want to die. But you have to go because there's no solution. You're going to stay in the lower astral. And there's no time limit on that. That's why some air quotes, ghosts, spirits, manifestations, and that stay for hundreds of years. There's one very well known in Mexico, and I made a show on that, La Llorona, that you hear a lady screaming during the nights. She's probably in the lower astral, and she went crazy, killed her. She discovered her husband was having an affair. She went crazy. She killed her children, and then she killed herself. All of that stuff sent her to the lower astral. What we can wish is in gratitude, in total bliss, in total love, is hope La Llorona finds her way out of the lower astral. And yes, if she wants to reincarnate, okay, that's perfectly fine, I guess. It's much better. But she could also break and go somewhere else. But leave the lower astral. Leave the lower astral. That's where it's very rough. It's a very rough place. Okay? If I'm correct, we still have one video to go. If not, I'll probably have to edit the video to correct the problem. Let's watch it together.
So then basically the Ascended Masters figured out the code, or they have the key to the door,
for sure.
where for the rest of us have not figured that door out. And that kind of goes along with, the yogi philosophies and the Vedic texts and, thousands of years, that as you evolve spiritually, you then eventually transcend and you are eventually are able to end this cycle because you're like, oh, I'm done. I'm good.
Yeah.
So what you're trying to do is to help people understand that they can choose to leave if they want to in this life.
Yeah.
But it's up to their free choice, is essentially what you're saying.
Exactly that. My message is that we have a choice. When you know that you have a choice, although we don't hear about that choice from anywhere, but when we know that we have a choice, we can make a different choice, and that brings freedom of choice to the soul for real.
Right.
Okay, so we did have one more video to go, and a pretty important one. It's about the choice. Okay, and Isabella is making a great point, and the gentleman, the host of the show, is making another great point, that he says that the Ascended Masters that have been here on Earth and have experienced this cycle as us, they probably, when Jesus Christ transcended, he probably broke, 100% sure he broke it, because he had the knowledge, he had the wisdom, he had that level, okay? So what Isabella is trying to do is share that we all have that power, and we all have that level, and we all have that possibility. It's a choice. So if you want to come back, it's perfectly fine. I want to clarify, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with Earth. If you want to come back 1,000 times, that's perfectly fine as well. Just do it through your own free will, truly, not through confusion, not through thinking is the only choice, but by thinking is the choice I want. Same example with analogy with my father. Yes, I'm going to go back to that. Is for him to think the only possible place to go on vacation was South Padre Island. That's wrong. But he knew he had other choices. He just wanted to go there, and he convinced us anytime. So at the end, we had great family trips, not complaining. I'm just saying, same as here on Earth is fine. But, every time he would say, wow, we're going on vacation, San Padre Island. Dad, come on, how about Cancun? No, we need to take a plane and it's different. Okay. So that's the thing. You have a choice. Okay. You have a choice. Are you going to remember it when you transcend? I don't know about that. I think it doesn't stay. So if it's a mental thing, it's not going to work, in my opinion. This has to be something inside you. You take with you. You prepare for that moment and say, I want to come back. With all honesty and with all respect, I want to enjoy the void. I want to enjoy the unity consciousness. I want to enjoy the creator. And by the way, we will go there for a while. And then, similar to the higher astral, a different thing, but similar. One thing is going to the higher astral, but you're still in the Earth's field. You're still attached to this 4D, this companion reality to the 3D. You break the void, you're somewhere else. You're actually very close to creation or with creation. And then you could say, hey, I want to do something else and this and that. And again, we have our free will and it's our choice. It's our choice. And karma is going to take care of itself in the sense that you are going to decide how to evolve and mature, and especially promise the universe. You got it. You shouldn't interfere. You got it about the rules. They're very simple and beautiful rules. Okay? We cannot go and attempt to destroy. We don't destroy anything. Nothing is destroyed. Everything is created. But, this process that basically we have to continuously for thousands of lives try to repent and improve our mistakes. That just, as Isabella says, that's not that way. So I hope you enjoyed the show. It's kind of a long one, but with 5 support videos. But it's a beautiful topic, and this is probably the best show I've done on reincarnation. And again, I'm gonna keep evolving, and probably in a year I'm gonna have a slightly different view. But it's just the natural way of things. You move around in the sphere and things look a little bit differently, okay? But I've been in this position for a while now, and this is probably my best attempt at explaining how I feel about this very important process of transcending this reality. I hope you enjoy it. If everything's okay, I should see you back on Monday. Have a great weekend. Take care. Thank you for making it to this part of the video. This is my favorite part. This is where I suggest to you that you discover your true self. You are not what you have been groomed to believe. You are this incredible being without limits that has eternal life, amazing strength, infinite wisdom, and a big, beautiful heart. All your limits are always self-imposed. Your best version in this reality is inside you. Your only mission on this life is to become a beacon of love and to serve others. This version is ready to be discovered today. How do you discover your true self? The discovery process is a personal one. No one can do it for you. Dedicate 5 minutes a day to talk to the universe. Simply ask, who am I? Where do I come from? What is my purpose? You will start getting signs, breakthroughs, and signals. You will notice how your notions about this reality start disappearing. No more hierarchies, no more competition, no more complaining, no more depending on others. Discovering your true self equals to real freedom. Your self-imposed limits will fall and you will be ready to understand this reality, but you must be patient to allow others to wake up at their time through their own free will. That will be really soon, you will see, and that will set up a new world. As you work towards your best version, you will notice how all emotions don't serve you anymore. Hate, fear, rage, pride, lust, envy, violence, justice through violence, judgment of others, and other emotions will disappear from your mind and heart. You will understand those emotions serve only your egoic mind and are not you. Please try to be understanding of others that don't think or feel like you. Everyone has a process. No one is right or wrong. We're all just different. Don't be concerned about being right, ever. Don't allow pride preventing you from patching things up with family and friends. It is very important you enjoy this life with your loved ones. Put in the work to patch things up and leave it to others to decide. Thank you very much for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe. If you have any comments or suggestions, please use the comment section below. For private questions, conversations, and if you would like to appear on the show, please email me at hey@thealexshow.tv. Thank you again. Please don't forget to visit our website www.thealexshow.tv. By giving me your time, you honor me. Have a very, very, very nice day.